name is Jenna, but you guys can call me Jen. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. Hi, hello. Welcome to the start of another weekend vlog. Hello. This is the start of an extra long weekend. I not only have Monday off, but I also have Tuesday off. Because Tuesday is July 1st, which is Canada Day, which is a stat holiday here in Canada. And because it's a Tuesday, my boss was like, do you want to just take Monday? And I'm like, absolutely, I just want to take Monday. So, extra long weekend, here I come. I am going to the lake tomorrow, and I'm going to come home Monday. I'm only going to go for 2 nights, because Mom's birthday is on Sunday, so figured might as well go up and celebrate her, and I haven't been to the lake in a second. And it's summer, so of course I want to go to the lake. So, that's where I'm going. My student is staying here, my ex-student, who has now turned into a friend, which is amazing, is staying here to take after Freya. So don't you worry, she's not being left alone. She's a baby. She has very little survival skills. Anyways, welcome to the weekend. I wanted to start this vlog now because it is Friday night. It's technically Saturday, I think. Yeah, because it's 12:40. It's midnight 40, if you will. I wanted to jump in and tell y'all what I'm going to be bringing with me to the lake because it is the last weekend of June. And though my editor, my beautiful friend Yeleni, is getting me the edits for A Favored Fey on the 11th and not the 1st, because she asked for an extension, I figured it's probably a good last hurrah before we go into July, which is going to be pretty heavy editing month time. So I am bringing with me my Kobo, as always, which, as you can see, has The Isle in the Silver Sea by Tasha Suri. I got it as an arc of NetGalley. I'm so fucking excited. Oh, I'm so excited. The whole like Lady Knights theme that's coming out recently has snuck by me, but if I grab it by its like tail, maybe I'll catch on. There's a lot of different books that are coming out that are coming out or have come out that are like Lady Knights themed. They have a lot of Lady Knights, and this is one of them. So this is Sapphic Lady Knights as well, and it's Tasha Suri. You guys know how much I love Tasha Suri, so I'm definitely fucking reading this weekend, bringing it with me. I also have, I took out A Day of Fallen Night on this because I didn't want to bring that fucking beast with me, the hardcover, because it is so difficult to read. The hardcover is so difficult to read with. So I'm bringing it on my Kobo instead, and I would really like to get through this one because this is also part of that like TBR wheel thing that I'm doing on TikTok. So I'd like to finish that so that I can do another one. And I would also like to bring this Nisha J. Tooley book with me because I think it could be kind of fun bringing this with me. But I also I have everything on my Kobo, right? So I have access to literally everything. So these are the 2 books that are coming with me, the 2 things that are coming with me. But I'm hoping to read A Day of Fallen Night and also that arc. Yesterday, I decided to start a cozy book that has been on my TBR for a long time. It has been the author I've been following on TikTok for so long. Yesterday, I was just like, it's time. So I started it, and today I finished it, and it was utterly fucking delightful. It is Love at First Glance by Griffin Murphy. If you like Pride and Prejudice 2005, if you like very silly vibes, and if you like Ella Enchanted, this shit is for you, okay? Pick this fucking thing up. This was so utterly delightful. This is about a princess of the Spring Kingdom. There's a bunch of different kingdoms in here. There's a nice map at the front that tells us all the different kingdoms, which is very, very fun. And last year, this spring princess, Bridget, was part of these games to find a knight, essentially, a knight, quote unquote, to marry her, to have her hand in marriage. But last year she threw the games for some reason. So this year it's her sister who's part of these games, and she is determined, Bridget is determined, to thwart these games at any chance. So she joins the competition as a knight herself in disguise to weed out these people. That might have a chance at her sister's hand, to like make sure that her sister's not, you know, joining up with someone as disgusting and terrible as the Day Prince, who was Bridget's beloved last year. Then she meets this prince. There is the Night Prince who's joined these games. She is determined to make sure that he does not also win her sister's hand, because all princes are knaves. It was so utterly delightful, okay? This book, I had a smile on my face the entire time. I was kicking my feet. At the end, I was just like, oh my god, I want this to be a movie. Like, I need this to be picked up traditionally so that it becomes a movie and gets optioned for film rights, because this would go so hard. Because the, like, if you like Pride and Prejudice, if you like Ella Enchanted, this is the new comfort movie material that we all need, okay? I loved this. I had so much fun. It's not necessarily 5 stars. There's a few, it's not a perfect book, but like, I had so much fun with it that I don't care. It was fantastic. So, love that. Highly recommend. Highly, highly recommend. But yes, anyways, it is almost 1 a.m. So I should probably go to bed because I'm leaving in the morning. I'm leaving in the morning to the lake. So that is the plan for this weekend. I will chat to you when I can next. We'll see what I end up getting read this weekend. And then, of course, because it is an extra long weekend, you will not witness all of the weekend, though, because this goes up on Tuesday morning instead of, you know, witnessing a long weekend Tuesday with me. I don't think I've ever witnessed a long weekend Tuesday, to be honest, but like, I'm excited about it. But anyways, that's not going to be in this vlog. But for the majority of the long weekend, it's you and me. We're going to see how much I can get read. I'll see you tomorrow. What's up, baby? What's up, little girl? Hi. What's going on? So sweet this morning. Yeah. Look at this baby. She's made herself a little bed. Oh, yeah, that's a good girl. Yeah, look at you. Hey, baby, did you see those babies? Did you see those babies? Wow. Mama's feeding the mama. Yeah, look at you feeding the mama. Look there. Look there. Look outside. Hello, my girl. Hello, my boopaloop. Hello, my boopaloop. Come here. Come on. Come on up here. Oh, big stretches. Look at that tail. Yeah. Good girl. Hello, baby. Did you miss me? Look at this fluffiness, sweetness. Oh, want some loving? Oh, of course she does. She says, oh, yes, Mom, yes, please. What's up, baby? Are you a happy girl? Oh, yeah. Are you meowing? Yeah? Hello, friends. Happy Monday. I am back home with my little beanie lady over here. With this little lady. Oh, hello, bubble. What a weekend. It was a really good weekend, I think. I do have one more day of the weekend, but that makes me happy and excited. Also, I have Mark on the TV. He's very close to the camera right now. But also apologize for the sound of my kettle in the background. I'm making a tea. What a good weekend, my friends. I have barely any reading things to report other than I read a lot of things and did not finish a single thing. So there is that. So this weekend, on the way up to the cabin, I decided to start the audiobook of Riley Sager's newest book because I had it come in on Libby, With a Vengeance. And oh my God, is it bad. I don't know what happened. It feels like I'm reading his debut novel. This does not feel up to par with a Riley Sager novel. The prose itself does not feel the same. One of the things that I can say about Riley Sager, one, his books are not amazing, but there's something about his prose, usually, that makes them so readable, these thrillers that are so readable. This one I was very excited about because With a Vengeance is set in the 50s, 60s on a train. I love a good train mystery as people are starting to die. But this book, it's bad. It's written terribly. The characters feel fake. Everything just, there's nothing good in this story. I am going to DNF. I physically cannot make myself finish this book because it is that bad and I don't care about what's happening. I really don't. So I started that on the way up. Read a little bit of it there last night and then continued reading it on the way home. I'm DNFing it at 70% because I physically cannot make myself read this anymore. I just can't. And then I started the arc for The Isle in the Silver Sea by Tasha Suri on the first day there. And I read for so long. I did not get very far. I'm 23% of the way through that arc. I am thriving with this one. But I gotta say, I'm also reading it at the same time as reading A Day of Fallen Night. And for one of the first times in my mood reading career as a 27-year-old who's been a mood reader who reads multiple books at the same time and has her whole life, I am having a hard time keeping these two stories apart in my brain, which is a first, which is crazy to say. And also just bananas because The Isle in the Silver Sea is set in a London, a London that is rife with stories. And then we have A Day of Fallen Night, which is a completely otherworld epic dragon fantasy. And I think what's doing it is the prose of both of them. Not that they're similar in any way. I mean, they are. But the prose of The Isle in the Silver Sea is different from Tasha Suri's prose in her other books. Feels like a fairy tale. I love that we're getting a lot of books right now that feel like they're written in a stylistic way to make it feel like something. It feels like a fairy tale. The River Has Roots by Amal El-Motar felt like I was reading a fairy tale the entire time, and that was because of the way it was composed. The prose of it is just so delicious. This one, the Isle in the Silver Sea, is like that, and it helps push through this feeling of the stories and how these people in these stories, called the Incarnates, are fate bound in a specific way. So that story specifically, this book comes out later this year, I believe in November, and I'm so excited to keep going with it. It follows a knight and a witch who are the incarnates of a story called The Knight and the Witch. This world lives and breathes stories, and this specific isle that they're on is literally the life's blood of this isle is stories. So these incarnates, they have to live out the stories exactly how they are supposed to, and they are fated to, and that just is what ends up happening. These incarnates, then they meet their next successor, and they pass off this story to these new people, and these new people become incarnates. And it's just this continuous cycle of these stories being relived and relived and relived and relived. And yet stories are starting to die. Stories are starting to be murdered, be killed, and be forgotten. And so this isle is crumbling into different places, and it's it's fascinating because we have our knight and our witch who are destined to go through this incredibly tragic love story, and they meet, and it's immediately like, I know you're like the other half of my story, and yet there's this other thing happening, and I like, the witch is like, I don't want any part of this, but we just keep getting pulled together. Like, it's just it's a fascinating concept, and I'm very excited to keep going with that. But it's reading like a fairy tale, and the prose, I think what's making it hard for me to read A Day of Fallen Night and this one at the same time is that both of them use pretty elevated prose. For some reason, that's just mixing the stories in my brain, which honestly has never really happened before. And I don't know why it's happening with these two books, because other than the prose thing, because they're quite different stories and they're quite different worlds, as I said. But anyways, I am also 42% of the way through A Day of Fallen Night. So I need to find where I am and update my physical copy here. I am enjoying A Day of Fallen Night. I'm on page 364. I'm enjoying this book. I want to just experience the whole thing before I really decide whether it's like a new favorite or not. And I mean, obviously I need the whole story to really decide, because I love Priory of the Orange Tree. It is one of my favorite fantasy books of all time. It is so epic. It is incredible. I've read it multiple times, and every time I love it even more. I just love the way it's mapped out. I love the stories in it. I love the characters in it. It is just so beautiful. This one, I don't know if it's hitting the same way, but I'm also like, I'm enjoying it. Like, I've been sucked in. I really enjoy all the audiobook narrators as well. Like, unlike Priory, this one has multiple audiobook narrators. Priory just has one, and she did an amazing job. Oh, I thought I was going to be able to do this update without my air kicking on. I'm going to go turn it off. Yes, I just don't know if this one's hitting like Priory did. But yes, so what was I saying? Audiobook. I am enjoying each of the narrators in here. But there's one narrator, the one male narrator, the one man who's narrating some of the parts of Wolf. I mean, he's narrating Wolf. It is so difficult to understand him at the speed that I'm listening to this book at. So like, I am locked in at like a 2.8 speed, right? And I can easily understand the two women narrators in here. And as soon as we come to a wolf part, I have to like fully pull my focus and really pay attention to the words on the page, because I cannot understand our narrator. And I think it's just because of the speed, because he's got an extremely strong, I think it's Scottish accent. I could be wrong. It's that level of gritty accent, and he's got such a good voice. But no, I'm not going to slow down the audiobook to understand him. I just need to use my brain, and when I use my brain, things are better. I love Priory so much, and Priory to me has a whole story arc, and I know this one will too. I know it will, but it feels very Game of Thrones-esque, like big epic fantasy that kind of just meanders a little bit, because we're slowly getting the whole story. Every single character has their own story to go through. But I love Priory because that one is very clearly like, maybe it's only clear to me because I've read it twice now and I've like seen how it all comes together. But it's one of those stories that just, you know that whatever is happening with the nameless one is coming to a head at the end of it. And it does. And it's satisfying and whatever. This one, I don't know what's going on. Maybe I need to read the synopsis. Oh, okay. So it is literally, okay. So we're following Tunava Mellon, who is a sister of the Priory. She's an older woman. She's about 50 years old. We're following the Queendom of Innis. Again, we're following a different Queen Sabran and her daughter, Glorian. We're following Glorian specifically. And we're also following Dumai, who is in the same, she's in the east, and they worship dragons as gods in the east, and in Innis in the west, no, they do not. The Sikanese mountain temple is trying to wake the gods from their long slumber, and Dumai is one of the first dragon riders in like 300 years or something. And then the Dread Mount, which is the volcano that originally spawned the Nameless One, erupts again and releases 5 more dragons into the world. it brings with it an age of terror and violence. And all three of these women, it says here, must find the strength to protect humankind from a devastating threat. And it's basically, since it is a prequel to Priory, it shows us a course of events that shaped it for the generations to come. So it really is just, it must have something to do with the Dreadnought. It must have something to do with all these creatures popping. That makes sense. I am 42% of the way through, so I do have a fair ways to go, but I feel good about the fact that I am a decent amount of the way through. Like, I read this for so long, okay? I read this for so long this weekend. I read The Isle of the Silver Sea all that first day, and I only got 23% of the way through. And I think that's because, one, I was reading it without the audiobook. Two, I was outside and I was near my mom, and my mom can't stop moving and talking, and like, she just can't sit and relax. She doesn't understand relaxing. She literally can't sit still for more than like 5 minutes. She used to complain that my dad was like that when I was a kid, and he used to not be able to focus on anything. He would have to get up and go to his office and fiddle around on his computer and then come back. Like, if we were watching a show or a movie, he would get up 20-30 times in the movie just to go to the other room and then do something and then come back. He couldn't sit. But now it's mom. She can't sit. She can't just sit and relax and enjoy things like this. Like, she has to get up and do things all day and has like different jobs to do, and she's always on my dad, and it's so funny. They're so funny. They're both, mom just turned 66 this weekend, so they're both 66 and 67. And oh, they're the funniest boomers I've ever met. And the two of them together is something. But the fact that she was around, and it just, the chatty and the doesn't stop, and I kept getting distracted by my phone. That's probably why it took me all day to get to 23% of the arc. And then I decided to switch over to the audiobook of this and the ebook, because I brought this with me on the ebook through my library. And just the way that the audiobook immediately kept me soaring through this, and then I spent a couple hours reading it that night. And then on Sunday, yesterday, it was my mom's birthday on Sunday, so when she wasn't asking me to do things or whatever, I was outside again, and I was reading this with the audiobook, and I was moving through it quicker. But again, for some reason, I just couldn't get through the books. I couldn't get through any books this weekend, so that's crazy. But I might try and get through more of one of them tonight. Who's to say? So that is the update, my friends. I've read a lot, and yet I haven't finished anything. And I really would have liked to finish something else before the end of June, but that's just not happening since I'm DNFing the Riley Sager, and I have like 77% of the way through to go through the arc, and then all of this to go through for this bad chunky boy. And I gotta say, this is dense. I forgot how dense of a fantasy this is to read, or like this world is to read from Samantha Shannon, and I am enjoying it, as I'm saying. That's not to say of anything else. I can't really say there's a part of the story that I'm enjoying more than others. I'm equally interested in Tunava and in Glorian. I am interested in Glorian because I can't remember anything about the history of Glorian from Priory, other than that she has a very tragic story. And I don't want to remember. This is the same thing of when I was reading the Song of Achilles, because I was like, I remember that this myth, this story is desperately sad, and I don't want to remember the details of it because I don't want to spoil it for myself. It's the same kind of a feeling, and I know I'm just going to end up crying. Like, I don't even want to remember like her title or anything, because I feel like that's gonna, because her parents are called Sabran the Ambitious and Barnhold the Hammer or something, and I don't even want to remember Glorian the Blank, because I know it's gonna spoil me for this trajectory of the story. So anyways, it's got dragons in it. I like that. It's kind of interesting to see kind of, now that I read the flap and I'm like, oh, okay, so it is centered, like the whole story is centered around this dreadnought exploding a couple more dragons into the world, and leaving these caches of egg-like things around that are threatening everyone. I'm intrigued to see how the whole world is going to come together and like handle this now. But yeah, it definitely feels like a Game of Thrones level of like spanning many years, days, months with these people as we're kind of churning into the story. I always forget that like true epic fantasy is definitely the level of fantasy that spans years or months. It spans a lot of time with characters, and we're growing with them. We're slowly getting these stories. We're slowly going into these big climactic things and slowly reaching them. But I'm used to fantasy that is very snappy, happens in a very short timeline where it's this big bombastic thing. And it's interesting because I don't really think I've ever thought about that before, about the fact that like true epic fantasy is something like Lord of the Rings and the Wheel of Time and Game of Thrones, and where it just stretches out over this monumental amount of time, and these characters are going through these life-changing things. It's epic in the nature of the word. And this definitely falls in that. So anyways, big chunky fantasy we love. Got home today, did my nails as I filmed earlier. Happy to have them done because I get to a point of when I have my nails done and I see like the growth of the nail and it drives me nuts. I feel so unclean with like growth of a nail or like chipping or anything, but that nail polish didn't really chip or anything, which is good. Also, my nails are just really soft, so it's nice to have like my builder gel back on it. Yay. So, did my nails. I made a delicious dinner, and I've just been doing nothing since. So, that is the update, my friends. DNFing a Riley Sager. Got part of the way through 2 beautiful, chunky fantasies. Very queer fantasies. And I think that's how we are ending June. I don't remember how many books I've read this month. I also realized that I did not do a May wrap-up, so I may do a May and June wrap-up together for the next video that you guys see from me. So I feel like that's probably what's going to end up happening. So you'll get to hear all my thoughts about all the books that I read in these past 2 months, all in one spot. I think I'm going to end this vlog here as well because it is 9:30 on a Monday. I need to finish editing this vlog and get it up for you guys. So I hope you don't mind if it's a little shorter. I don't know if it will be because this clip is currently 22 minutes long and I like to yap, as you guys know. But happy end of June, happy July 1st, happy Canada Day to all my Canadians out there. Let me know down below what you're gonna be starting July with, if you have any idea what the first book of July is gonna be. And I'll catch you in another video very soon. Stay kind and keep on reading.